Hi, Taylor T. Carlson here, and today we're taking a trip back to 1997 and looking at a classic sci-fi film that came out that year. The movie I'm referring to is Starship Troopers. This movie's been released on home video more times than I can count, and this is actually the second release of the film on 4K, following an initial release that had HDR, whereas this reissue that's in this limited edition Steelbook actually has Dolby Vision. I'm going to do an unboxing review for this release, talk a little about the movie, and share my opinion. Here's the close-up. Got all these soldiers' skulls after being massacred by the bugs. I actually quite like the way that looks. There's the spine with the film's title logo. Here's our backing card. This has all our info as to what's included and so forth. Underneath here, the art that's on the cover continues. You've got one of those fire blasting bugs doing its thing. In here we have a digital code. Right here we have our 4K ultra high def disc of the film. Under here we've got a Blu-ray. This appears to be similar to the Blu-ray that came with the earlier 4K release, so no real surprises there. Sadly, the background is just like this plain blue. I'm not really sure what Sony's deal is with these just plain colored interiors of Steelbooks. It's a little bland, and I really think a movie like this deserves something more epic than that. I'll read the description of the film from the backing card. From the bridge of the fleet battle station Ticonderoga with its sweeping galactic views to the desolate terrain of planet Klendathu, teeming with shrieking, fire-spitting, brain-sucking creatures, acclaimed director Paul Verhoeven crafts a dazzling epic based on Robert A. Heinlein's classic sci-fi adventure. Casper Van Dien, Dina Meyer, Denise Richards, Jake Busey, Neil Patrick Harris, Patrick Muldoon, and Michael Ironside star as the courageous soldiers who travel to the distant and desolate Klendathu system for the ultimate showdown between the species. Paul Verhoeven, I think, is seriously one of the most underrated film directors of all time. I don't think there's ever been anyone who has so ingeniously combined hardcore violence and satirical comedy. He did it expertly on the original RoboCop back in 1987, and he does the exact same thing here. On the surface, this movie looks like this big, dumb sci-fi epic with a ton of violence. There's certainly plenty of violence. I mean, in this movie, heads will roll, literally. But you also have a look at this world from the perspective of the media, much like you had in RoboCop, and it's so darkly comedic and oblivious in its own way that it really has to be seen to be appreciated. The casting in the movie's not half bad either. I mean, we do get these characters that are in this world. It's kind of hard to describe the world in which this is set because you have a world where citizenship has to be earned through military or public service. You have, obviously, bugs that the human race has gone to war with. And it sounds ridiculous on the surface, and in a lot of ways it is, but just seeing how seriously these characters take their military service and so forth, and how far they're willing to go to earn their citizenship, it makes for some interesting viewing. Of course, this movie, when it first came out, was rejected by critics as just being, like I said before, a big, dumb sci-fi movie, but it's been reevaluated over the years to the point that people actually have a much warmer critical reception regarding it. And it's personally one of my favorites, one that I've kept coming back to over the years. I don't know how many copies of this movie I've owned over the years. I may have owned this more times than any movie ever, with the possible exception of Top Gun, which coincidentally also starred Michael Ironside. And I do have to say, it's great to finally get this one in 4K ultra high def. Now, like I said, there was an earlier 4K release of Starship Troopers. I don't own that release, so I can't do any direct comparisons, but I do have to say I'm very happy with how this movie looks in its ultra high def transfer here. A lot of times I'm really hesitant when it comes to movies that are pretty CGI heavy, that came from like the 90s getting released on a modern format, because a lot of the times the special effects just don't hold up that well. I am happy to say that a lot of the special effects in Starship Troopers actually still look surprisingly well. I mean, they're not necessarily going to compete with a modern day big blockbuster with all the modern technology, but overall the whole thing looks pretty solid. It's a faithful transfer that still manages to look filmic It packs in plenty of detail, vibrant colors, deep black levels, pretty much anything you could want from a 4K ultra high def presentation. The Blu-ray disc that's included has all the features that had come on that disc in the past, because again, it's pretty much the same disc, and I am happy to see that in addition to all of those old EPK style features and the like, we do get a new cast and crew reunion feature on the 4K high def disc itself. So there is something, and I don't know if that feature appeared on the previous 4K or if that's new to this release with Dolby Vision, but either way, anytime that I can get something that's new to me, that's always a plus. So overall, if you are a fan of Starship Troopers, or you're just very interested in this film because maybe you're into science fiction, or maybe you like, darkly satirical and movies that are comedic in their own way, it's well worth checking out, and this is a great disc, easily the best the movie has ever looked. Are you a fan of Starship Troopers? Is this one of your favorite sci-fi movies? Did you pick up this 4K Ultra High Def release yet? Comment down below and let me know what you think. Also, remember to subscribe to this channel for more content. I'm always posting new videos, and be sure you give this one a like if you found it helpful. I'm Taylor T. Carlson. I'll see you next time.